Going to call the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee to order at 8:10. Thank everyone for their patience as we've had several committee meetings this evening. We have one order on our agenda, order number 23-100-8962, proposed easement for a parcel of land at South Bolton and Main Street, map 70, parcel 126, in addition to a gift acceptance from the Marlborough Historical Society. So we are pleased to have Attorney Rowe with us if he wants to come into the well. Has a little bit of a presentation for us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And if you haven't been at the corner of Main Street and Bolton Street, there's a sign there that looks vaguely like this one. In fact, it's identical. And that's the Sam Boyd sign that's part of the Museum in the Streets. I have a one-page, some prepared remarks that are in the envelope that I gave you. Basically, it starts off with the fact that former Mayor Haddad and City Clerk Rita Lapine started the Marlborough Historical Society. And I hate to say it, but I had the pleasure of knowing both of them, which was a long time ago. And we're continuing their mission. The Sam Boyd Project, our curator Bob Kane has done a lot of stories about their various people in the city, one of which was Sam Boyd. And he was part of the Museum in the Streets, and Bob has given that talk to various groups, and one of the groups said we ought to have a statute for Sam Boyd. And that kind of took a life of its own. Now, I've got to tell you that the reason we're sort of in a hurry is because we want to get this done in 2024, because 2025 is the start of Revolution 250, and we've got to plan our events for the revolution and celebrations of our American independence, and that we're already planning that. So we got to get this behind us. So I would appreciate it if you would act on the request to accept the statute. There's some question about, the quality of it or whatever. I think, again, if you've seen the shoe workers statute out there, the lady and the man, done by David Kapitanopoulos, Marlborough High School graduate, went to BU. He has a studio now in Gloucester. I think he did a great job. And prior to that, 1995, he did the sculptures that are outside the library, the toad, and let's see, the toad, there's a rabbit, and something else. What's the third one? Anyway, all of them are been there for a long time, and the kids have enjoyed them over the years. I think they're done very well in quality operation. I think you can trust the Historical Society. I think we did a great job patting ourselves on the back on the Museum in the Streets. We are on our way to raising the funds, and we already have some substantial contributions on this. It's a little bit of a chicken and an egg thing without having the probability that we're going to have it allowed. It's difficult to raise money that you might have to give back if you guys don't approve it. Therefore, I would be happy to answer any questions about this, but I think that it's a worthwhile. We have a historic district downtown. One of our now deceased former trustees, Paul Broder, would be here with his arms raised and pleading with you to get this done, because he was an absolute believer in the great history of Marlborough and the things that we have to talk about here, whether it be, as nobody knows, but Artemus Ward, his grandson, made a lot of money, and that's where Ward Park came from. And he happened also to be the first commander of the Continental troops in the Revolutionary War, prior to George Washington. There's a lot of great history in this city, and we want to promote it. Sam Boyd brought this community from a town of 3,000 to about 13,000. He had to pass the 10,000 population mark in order for the state to consider it a city, and he did. You know, everybody talks about electric everything now, electric cars and stuff. He had an electric trolley here way back. And unfortunately, General Motors and their friends wanted to sell buses, so they got rid of the trolleys. And that's how the end of the electric trolleys went. Another story. I'd be happy to answer any questions, Madam Chair.
Yes, well, thank you so much for the overview. We're going to open it up to committee members first and then to the full council if they have any questions.
Okay.
Councilor Oram?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to motion to approve, but with the condition for discussion. I'm definitely in favor of your efforts, and thank you for all that effort that you've made, all the efforts you have made. I don't have any questions. I think it's a matter of just doing the authorization to accept this land from the CDA. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other questions from individuals here?
Madam Chair.
Councilor Doucette?
Thank you very much. I just wanted to clarify exactly the area where this is going. It's going to be at the intersection, basically down Main Street, and the parking area that is next to Chin's
From
Garden.
Chin's, actually, that was the location of the Boyd factory.
Right, it got burned down.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I read some history.
And it's in the section, we're not taking any parking spaces. Okay, make that clear. There's sufficient room there to put reconfigure that a little bit, maybe move this sign and a couple of other things, but there's sufficient room to put the statute there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Roby?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In a quick conversation with the Mr. DePercio again, there's a transformer box of some kind on the corner, and my understanding is that corner is going to get reconfigured with construction. So will you have to wait till all of that is done before you know exactly where in the area that we're allowing you to, not you, but the CDA to donate?
We obviously will be working with the city engineer and the DPW, and this, if it were approved tonight, we had the check for $100,000 in our pocket, and the mayor signed it tomorrow. We would not even think about getting in the ground or doing anything until next spring anyway. So we'll have time to design and whatever problems, and we're not going to put something up that we have to move.
And the actual depiction and the material it's made out of, the whole look will be up to the Historical Society? We're giving you carte blanche with all of that by giving you permission?
Yes, Again, if you look at the shoe workers, it will be the same bronze material. It will be, I think the thought is to raise it a little. Among other things, Sam Boyd wasn't the tallest guy around. And he tried to volunteer to go into the Civil War, and they wouldn't let him. So instead, he took care of the families of all the guys that did. So, but anyway, we're going to raise the statute up a little, perhaps to give him stature.
Okay, so just to clarify the motion that was made, it's both to accept the land and to allow the mayor to accept the gift, I guess, the sculpture. So,
Thank you,
I'm fine.
Councilor Roby. Councilor Ossing?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so Council Roby's correct. There's two orders you're approving. One's the donation agreement and one's the easement. So those are the two orders that the committee should be looking at.
Thank you. I also had a question. I know in one of the packets we received, there is, I guess, the letter from the Samuel Boyd Committee that has a sketch of the sculpture. Is that the intended design as it currently stands, that it would be Samuel Boyd with his hand out? Is that the idea for the sculpture?
I'm sorry?
In the packet you provided, there was a drawing. Is this the intended, it's just a...
Sketch, and no, we'll leave it to the artist.
Okay.
Okay, that was just some sketches that were made to try to get going on the fundraising, but no.
Okay. So the idea would be some depiction of Samuel Boyd raised above ground for the height, and would there be any placard in the front?
The base, I think we're kind of opposed to tacky advertising. There may be some references to contributors on it, but that will not be space for lease or whatever to whatever business or whatever. That won't happen.
Okay. And then Councilor Orm?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, I know you mentioned that if this were to move forward, it wouldn't be even up, until the spring or something with the timeline. Once completed with all of the paperwork and you move forward, how long would it take to actually put the statue, to create it and then put it in the location?
My understanding is it's about a 3-month process to make the mold, do that kind of stuff, bring it to the foundry and all that stuff. So then we would have a delivery date that we would coordinate with the DPW and then install it. Hopefully, I would hope by next fall.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. And Councilor Orem, did you have a comment?
I know I did that motion pretty quick, but it's to approve order number 23-1008-962. That states, proposed easement for a parcel of land at South Bolton and Main Street, map 70, parcel 126, in addition to a gift acceptance from the Marlborough Historical Society. Just so it's clear what I was motioning at the time.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much, Attorney Rowe, for coming in. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Motion carries 3-0. We are adjourned at 8:24. Thank you, everyone.